in the heart of the forsaken village, shrouded in mystery, village named Osho. There lived young woman Amelia. She lived with her son and kept her son Felix hidden away, shielding him from the world. Amelia burdened with a secret she bore with stoic grace. Her son, Felix, was a devil-born child with hunger of flesh, and Amelia had discovered this dark secret the night he was born, when she saw his glowing red eyes and tiny sharp fangs. Amelia knew that revealing his true nature would bring only suffering and persecution upon him. Amelia decided to keep his true identity hidden. She built a secret chamber in the depths of their small cottage where Felix would reside during the day, away from prying eyes. She skillfully managed to feed him a diet of animal flesh that she sourced from the forest, from stealing the villagers' domestic animals, making sure to keep his peculiar cravings unknown to the villagers. Despite her fearsome son, Amelia's love for him was boundless. She would read him stories every night, hoping to instill some goodness in his dark soul. She was determined to protect him, even if it meant enduring a life of isolation, loneliness and ostracization from the village, all to keep him safe from the world that would never understand him. 6 years later, as the son grew older, his insatiable appetite for flesh intensified, and the forest's resources could no longer sustain him. In past 6 years, one by one villagers are leaving village in fear of village cursed due to mysterious stealing of the cattle and other pet animals. There were just few people left in the village. The mother hunted relentlessly, trying her best to provide for her son, but she could not find enough prey to satisfy his ever-growing hunger. The woods began to suffer under the burden of their secret, and the once abundant wildlife dwindled, leaving the Amelia with fewer and fewer options. Desperation gnawed at her heart as she saw her son weaken and suffer from the constant hunger. She knew that if they remained in the forest, they would deplete it entirely, drawing unwanted attention to their secluded sanctuary. The mother's love for her son conflicted with the guilt of being a burden on nature and potentially exposing her son's true nature to the world. If they left the village, people identified that Felix a devil kid and they killed him. She wept silently, feeling the weight of her own limitations as a mother, unable to save her son from the dark fate that haunted him. And she couldn't satisfy hunger of his son. One fateful night, when the moon hung low in the sky and shadows danced on the walls, a chilling wind whispered through the village. Felix stood before his mother with tears in his eyes. "I can't control it anymore, mother," he confessed, his voice trembling. "The hunger is consuming me," he confessed with a tremor in his voice. "I either devour you or succumb to starvation." Amelia's heart broke at her son's plight, knowing the impossible choice that lay ahead. "You have two options, my son," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "You can either give in to the darkness and end my suffering by taking my life, or you can fight the urge and save me, even if it means dying of hunger." The weight of the world pressed down on Felix's shoulders. The darkness within him threatened to engulf everything he held dear. But amidst the struggle, a glimmer of humanity shone through his eyes. He couldn't bear the thought of causing his mother harm, even if it meant his own demise. Tears streamed down his face as he spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "I can't do it, mother. I can't hurt you. I would rather die with hunger than lose the only person who has ever cared for me, and forgive me, mother, for the pain I'm about to cause." Amelia held back her tears, her voice shaking as she whispered, "You are forgiven, my dear son. For in my heart, you will always be the innocent child I cradled in my arms." As the day passed, Felix's hunger grew more relentless, his body weakening with each passing moment. Amelia stayed by his side, offering comfort and love, even as her own health declined. Nobody, unaware of the truth, marveled at the bond between mother and son, never suspecting the tragedy that unfolded behind closed doors. In the end, Felix succumbed to his hunger, his frail body unable to sustain itself any longer. His mother held him close, tears streaming down her face, feeling the life slipping away from him. Finally, Felix died. Amelia cried too violently, her heartache only deepened more. She spent her remaining days in sorrow and mourning, carrying the weight of her son's sacrifice. Amelia can't bear the pain of Felix's death. After Felix's death, few days later Amelia died. The loss of her beloved son was a burden she carried until her final breath. Dear listeners, overcome with emotion, addressed you with a heavy heart. We saw the immense love between a mother and her devil-born son, of the sacrifices made and the heartache endured, all in the name of protecting a soul that was never truly understood. We witnessed the tragic tale of a mother's love for her devil-born son.